1 minute till we start.
Ever since the pandemic, we've been really on it. Bullish on it, cop an NFT every morning. On me millionaire, lifestyle never boring. Moon boy, watch them charts start soaring. Crypto to a Lambo, it's a foreign. I've been all around the VeVe verse, we've been touring. FOMO, fear, missing out while we scoring. On me millionaire, 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 millionaire. Cause you know when it rains, it be pouring. We was all investing, they was snoring. Now look at my collection, it's enormous. On me millionaire, 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 millionaire. Bullish on that cryptocurrency, and you know it. Ever since the pandemic, we've been really on it. Bullish on it, cop an NFT every morning. On me millionaire, lifestyle never boring. Meet me there, on the moon, it's important. Thank you to everybody that supported. Now we poppin' champagne, that's important. And we kept playing the game, ain't aborted. Solid diamond hands are rewarded. On me millionaire, millionaire, millionaire.
What's up, my homies and fellow NFT collectors? It is VeVe debate night, and we got Dino, Laing, and Cody Thrive here for a debate. And today's topic is first appearance in real life versus first appearance on VeVe when it comes to what is going to be more valuable in the future when we're looking. Oh man, I was on the wrong scene. Sorry about that. There they are. What's up, my homies?
Let's go.
All right, guys. So before we get started, I want to introduce our debaters. They're both new VeVe YouTubers. They both have their own YouTube channels, and they focus on VeVe. If you guys aren't subscribed to them already, I'm going to pull up their channels. First up is Dino Laing, who I watch a lot of time on his live streams. He's always live streaming and doing market analysis and talking to all the homies about what's going on in the community. Dino, let me know how long you've been in VeVe, what's your most valuable NFT, and what's your channel about?
Yeah, dude, what's up? Dude, it's fun to be on here, Vault, and fun to talk about this stuff with you, Cody. And yeah, I've been in VeVe. Dude, crazy, right? So not an OG. I've been in VeVe since Andre Jick made a video. I got in on Eternals and stamp drops, man. So those are my first drops. Got them both. Most valuable collectible is R2-D2. I freaking, yeah, love him. Yeah, I'm missing a ton of those grails, but I got the ones that I love. My vault value, shoot, it's going up every day, man. I'm loving this game, dude. It's a blast. Yeah, my channel's pretty much financial content. So I'll talk about anything financial, but mainly VeVe right now, just because it's I have a ton of money invested there, ton of time. The fam is awesome. So yeah, I'm mainly VeVe right now, man. It's fun.
Perfect. And I know Dino is a huge Disney fan, so this is a perfect topic for him. He's going to be arguing for real life first appearances against my man Cody Thrive. And Cody Thrive is very well known on social media. He has a huge following on Twitch. He has a big YouTube channel, and he's just recently got into VeVe and started doing VeVe content. So let me know, Cody, how long have you been in VeVe? What's your most valuable NFT, and what's your channel about?
Yeah, so I came into VeVe a similar time, just under 2 months ago. So I haven't been around for that long, unfortunately. It's a little sickening just to think if I had just found VeVe a month earlier or 3 months earlier, it's dang, man. But I'm just thankful that I found it when I did, because if I had found it over the past week, I wouldn't have been able to get into the things that I got into. I was able to put around 70 to 80,000 down. And I put that into 2 secret rare Spider-Mans. So those are my top things. And I have 2 Supermans as well. Those are probably second, but 99% of my portfolio is those secret rare Spider-Mans. So the topic we're going over today and debating on little things like that, I kind of pulled myself out of that as far as my personal investments. I just kept it simple, just bought the top thing, and I'm just gonna hold it as long as I can and see where it goes. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. A little bit nervous, but
same. Bro, your vault's insane. 2 secret rare Spideys.
You're well status.
Yeah, awesome. Not quite, because right now my buying power is kind of down, because I basically went in debt a little bit to get the second one. I found a guy. Luckily, I made a YouTube channel, and I've gotten really well connected to a lot of good people on VeVe, and found a guy that was trying to cash out to get Omi. So I was able to buy that off of him for under market value. So I got the first one I got in 25,000 on the app. So the app, I put all my money into gems through the Apple iTunes store. So I probably paid like 28,000 after tax. And then I found someone that sold it to me for 35,000 cash. So
Dang.
that was fun trying to get him that money. We had to jump through a bunch of hoops with like the bank and stuff. But I got it to him, and now I'm finishing paying off credit card debt pretty much is what I'm doing now.
Okay, that would have been a scary transaction to have to deal with. Whew, I would have been sweating.
We had Randy Chavez did the escrow, so
nice.
It wasn't that stressful, because we knew Randy's a trusted escrow, and I do escrows too for people. But yeah, as long as you have I think the key is use an escrow that has a YouTube channel, because like the YouTubers are putting their face out there, so like we have incentive not to rob somebody, because our long-term goal is to build the YouTube channel. There's a lot more money in that than just robbing someone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I even do escrow for the members of my channel as well. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. People can trust the YouTubers. They can see their faces. And I appreciate you guys a lot for coming onto my channel. This is the first time we've done a VeVe debate night. And like I said, the topic here is going to be VeVe first appearance NFTs versus real life first appearance NFTs. And a few examples of that would be like the partner statue versus the Steamboat Willie, or you got the Marvel Mighty, Steve Rogers versus the Captain America. So before we get into the specific ones, I'm going to let you guys start off with your opening statements, why you think that you're correct, that your side of the argument is the right one. So go ahead, my man. And at the end, guys, we're going to let you guys vote. We're going to stop at about 8:50 my time, so in about 45 minutes, we're going to stop and let you guys vote on a winner. And you can vote on who you think made the best argument, or you can vote on which argument is just what you think is correct. And the winner will receive a House of X Uncommon from VeVe Vault's Vault. So let's start it off with Dino's opening argument on why he thinks real-life first appearances are more important.
Let's freaking go. Okay, yeah, dude, I feel like a lawyer. My opening arguments.
Let's do it, man.
Dude, I mean, I think a couple points to think about when you're thinking about this, especially when you refer to those collectibles, is just like supply and demand determines price, right? So if you look at the FAs on VeVe versus some of these ones that we're comparing to, like most of the times, except in the partners Steamboat, which I actually have a couple thoughts on that. Most of the time, it's like the IRL one wins because people care about what they love. People care about getting the thing that they want. Obviously, partner Steamboats is probably the biggest exception. So I think supply and demand will dictate that. I think that I love this quote. You guys ever watch Ready Player One? One of my favorite movies. But what does the guy say in there? He goes, in real life is the only place you can find a good meal, man. So I'm just saying, I think in real life will actually I think it will trump eventually, because of the fact that people that are going to collect, they want to collect what they already know. I personally, personal thing, nothing against Cody, because I liked your Marvel Mighty video you just did. I just watched it. I was like, oh, I like this. I personally don't like the Marvel Mighties at all. So I would take any other collectible that looks better over the Mighties, even though they have the tag, the FA, the FE. I just I look at it and I'm like, I don't want this. Personally, the last thing I would say is too, I think VeVe, and this might not affect value, I definitely feel like VeVe is using the tags to make more money, which, I mean, they're a business, right? More power to them. Because if they put an FA, FE tag on a Mighty, it's going to hold a premium. Versus if they put that FA tag where they should have on the cap, the real cap, the secret cap's only 4K, he would have been upwards, 10, 20, 30K if he had that tag. So I think VeVe's kind of using it to make some money there, and I don't blame him. But yeah, those are kind of my initial thoughts. I think the market will tell, especially as VeVe grows in users. People are going to come in and they're going to want the first Mickey in real life.
Right, that's a strong argument. Dino came out swinging. He brought notes too. I saw him reading notes and everything. Cody, I hope you're ready for this.
Oh man!
All right, Cody, you got the VeVe first appearance, the one that actually gets the FA tag. So why do you think that's more important than the real life first appearance?
Yeah, I really think this whole debate's interesting, and I think one thing that a lot of people are missing that are thinking, that are sleeping on the FA, is that we are just so early to the game, and sometimes when you get engulfed in the marketplace and you're looking at this stuff every day, it's easy to think, oh, this Captain America, the non-FA one, it looks way cooler. It's more lifelike. That's the real one. But the reality is, if we think VeVe is going to be here 20 years from now, and we think NFTs are here to stay and the metaverse is real and it's part of the future, which most people do, that's why they put money into the VeVe app, then what's going to happen is Captain America is going to get 50 more drops over the next 20 years. And Mickey Mouse is going to get 100 more drops over the next 10 years. And eventually you'll have 100 Mickey Mouse sets and Mickey Mouse NFTs, and there's going to be 99 without the FA and then one with the FA.
Great point.
And I think about it like I have a background with Pokemon cards, investing in Pokemon, investing in sports cards. And I think the easiest comparison is just the athletes. You think about LeBron James, you think about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. There's actually thousands of worthless LeBron James cards. And the ones that are worth the most, like substantially more, like 20x more than the rest, are all of the cards from 2003, his rookie year. So that FA, and the thing is, like, there's a ton of LeBron James cards that I think are super cool from, 2007, 2012. Like, there's so many iconic cards with cool art, and he's in a cool picture of him, but it just doesn't carry the value because everybody's after that first year. Now, the other side of that is sports card investors made it so that the rookie year is everything. So with VeVe, you really have to just pay close attention, because if VeVe collectors decide and NFT collectors decide the Steamboat Willie is the Grail, then that's what it's going to be. So it's just, you got to just kind of pay attention to what's going on and look at the culture of the collectibles. But with this recent Mickey and Friends drop, where you basically had little cards, and I kind of like those a lot, because I think those are really, really good art, and the first color of each character. The utility behind that is you can use it as a profile picture on like Twitter and stuff, which traditionally 2D NFTs, that's kind of been their main utility. But if you looked at the prices of Steamboat Willie, it seemed like a lot of money came from Steamboat Willie and went into those new things. So I kind of feel like the non-FA stuff, people are just going to be cashing out to get that next thing. Like the next Mickey that drops, I'm sure we'll see the Mickey and Friends stuff drop a little bit, and they'll always just be chasing those things. Whereas the FA, I mean, in Mickey's case, it's kind of hard because it's like one of the top NFTs on the app. So of course it's always going to go up. But I feel like the FA is kind of a stronger group where they have a stronger hold on it. But yeah, I mean, that's talking about demand. Really, the variable that changes with all of these is supply. And there are a ton of Steve Rogers, 28,000, I think there are. Maybe it might be 18,000. It's a lot. It's over 10,000. But yeah, I think you can't go wrong with FA, even if you don't like the art as much. That's kind of what my strategy is, though.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a lot of good points. Absolutely. All right, guys. And like I said, there's a lot of different examples that we have of VeVe FAs and real life FAs on the app. And I know that a lot of them have their own different takes to them. And the first one is the partner statue versus the Steamboat Willie. And of course, partner statue is like it's a grail on the app, and everybody knows about it and knows how much it's worth. So it's going to be hard to argue that Steamboat Willie is worth more. So this one might be a little different than some of the others. But I'm going to let Cody start this time. And I guess since you have the FA, you get the partner statue. What do you think? Did Steamboat Willie ever catch partner statue in value?
Well, of course it won't. But the bigger thing to look at here is, which one will 10x faster, because the path to 10xing for the partner statue is a lot longer of a path, considering what it's at 40,000, 50,000. So to 10x, you're asking it to get to almost $500,000. Whereas the Steamboat Willie, what's Steamboat Willie at right now? It changes so much.
It's just around 7, I think.
7K.
Around 7.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, Steamboat Willie getting to 70. I think if I had a Steamboat Willie, my concern would be like that there's going to be more Mickey drops, and potentially there could be a Mickey drop every other month. So we could get 6 a year for the next 10 years. And every time one of those things drops, it kind of takes some of the scarcity out of what you have and into that, because if the art is cooler, because you mentioned at the top of the show, the Captain America, you prefer the art over the tag. Well, what if people prefer the art on the Mickey over the black and white, right? So for me personally, I wasn't familiar with Steamboat Willie till I started doing research on it, and of course it's a it's a grail item, like long term, you can't go wrong putting your money into that. But if I had $50,000, I might want to get just one partner statue over getting however many, stacking Steamboat Willies. I do think if you go for the Steamboat Willie and you go for the in real life first appearance, maybe look at low mint numbers is a little bit safer, a little bit more crash proof, but it's really 100% sure that the golden moment is not going to crash. Whereas the Steamboat Willie, I mean, I think it got up to 10K, didn't it? And then now it's down to 7, y'all are saying. So
yeah, it was close to 11, I think.
And so it goes down from 11 to 7. And I think a big reason why is because the Mickey and Friends came. So all those people that were chasing it put that money into Mickey and Friends. Why do you think it crashed so hard?
I think it crashed so hard because it's a gem squeeze, and there's no tag on it currently. And I definitely think that people aren't going to sell their partners for that, because it is probably one of the grail of grails on the app. Like, I feel like even comparing the Venticular Mickey card and Steamboat Willie to the partner is unfair of an argument, even in general, because that has Walt, and Walt is the epitome of everything Disney. Walt represents Disney. Walt represents even down to Marvel, everything. Walt is the ultimate representation of Disney. So I feel like it's almost a fair comparison to compare him to the Mickey hat, because the Mickey hat maybe is the FA, because it says Mickey Sorcerer hat. So that's kind of where I go with that. But I think ultra rare Steamboat, what you have people that are Mickey collectors in real life that all they do is collect Mickey stuff, and they're going to come on the app and they're going to go, that's the partner statue. That's Mickey. And Mickey, his first appearance was on Steamboat Willie, and it's the mouse that changed everything. Even Walt himself said it all started with a mouse. So I think that the path to 10x is quicker for an ultra rare Steamboat? Yes. Do I think it's safer to invest into partners? Yes. I think it's definitely safer. It's definitely going to go up long term. It might be one of the first $1 million pieces. But if you buy 10 ultra rare Steamboats, at the same price range, you might have a path to 10x a little quicker. And as NFT investors, we're all high risk investors anyways, right? So,
right.
Yeah. Why do you think that? You mentioned maybe there'll be it seemed like you were mentioning that there might be an FE or FA added to Steamboat Willie. Do you think that is possible?
I don't think VeVe will probably go back on what they already decided. I mean, today in the AMA, they literally said, we've made mistakes with FA, FE. They said that just today, which is so interesting that we're having this debate right after they said that, that they said we made a mistake with that. Like, sometimes they didn't say Steamboat in particular. I don't know. I honestly, I'd probably put it at maybe a 1 in 10 chance that they add the tag afterwards. I don't think they will personally. But I think that in real life, collectors are going to want the first Mickey. They're not going to care what VeVe said. They're going to want the first Mickey because he's the first Mickey in real life. And to compare him to Partners, I feel like Partners is a whole different collectible because of Walt Disney. Because of him, it just changes the game, which is why it is what it is. The price that it is so quickly, it's because it's Partners.
I think that the fact that so many people on Twitter and so many people push VeVe so hard to add a tag to that Steamboat Willie, it kind of just shows how important the tags are, the FA and FE tags are. What is their big argument? I'm just curious, because I don't understand why they would put an FA or FE tag. I get that it's the FA in real life, but are they saying it's the first? Are they considering the partner statue, since it's a statue, it doesn't count as a character, or what's their angle?
Well, now for a while there, I used to think that first appearance tags only went on things that could breathe. So if it was a statue, it would get an FE tag, but that doesn't seem to hold true. That's why apparently they're gonna clarify it more. So that didn't end up holding true whenever it came to the partner statue.
Yeah. So the partner statue couldn't breathe. So would you say the partner statue? So these people that want the FA on the Steamboat Willie, do you think that they would take it away from the partner statue, or?
I don't think they would, but I think it would. They should have done it maybe in the beginning, but they shouldn't change it.
Okay, yeah, of course you can't change it, screw people over, but yeah, I think I think the way people push so hard for it on that Steamboat Willie, that gives me a lot of confidence as somebody who invests pretty much all my money in stuff that only has an FA or FE tag on it. And really, it's just long-term thinking. I really believe that there's going to be over 100 Mickey Mouse NFTs.
There will.
And I get what you're saying too, the physical Disney collectors. but I just feel like so much of the NFT community, and maybe it'll change, but I feel like people that are anti NFT are really stuck in their ways. And I feel like the money that you see come into NFTs and the people that you see paying 50 grand for one NFT are people that are really more new school and probably not as knowledgeable about the significance of Steamboat Willie. Probably people more so like me, where, you know, I'm always into social media and everything with the metaverse and the internet 3.0 stuff. And for me, I can read and learn about Steamboat Willie, but it just doesn't carry the weight as, like, for me, I think of VeVe and I think of NFTs, like this is something I'll tell my grandkids about. And this is the life-changing thing for me. Whereas I get when Steamboat Willie aired, you know, almost 100 years ago, that was a big time, but all those people are either dead now, or the people that, you know, cared about it, I feel like they're so old that they're probably not going to get into NFTs. I think most of the money we see come into NFTs are young people that are young and then also get a hold of money. So I think of like pro athletes, they get millions of dollars, influencers, you know, there's teenagers now that have tens of millions of dollars. And, you know, I'll sell my NFTs to whoever will buy them. But I think for the most part, it's a lot of these young influencers and young pro athletes that are going to be buying all the NFTs that we're getting in on early now. And I think they're going to gravitate towards the gold, you know, the golden statue that they see when they take their kids to Disney World.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. I could definitely see them gravitating towards partner statue when they get into the app. But when we have another situation where the first appearance is a mighty Marvel, like Invisible Woman, do you still think that they're going to go for that instead of the real life first appearance, Susan Storm, which has the animated low edition secret rare? I'll let you start, Dino, this time. What do you think, my man?
Man, I think NFTs are a flex, and I don't see anyone with a Marvel Mighty as their profile picture. Just like, you know, because they're a flex. And it's like, I don't want Invisible Woman as my profile picture, like Marvel Mighty. I don't want, you know, I don't want Steve Rogers. You know what I want? I want the secret rare cap smashing the ground. Like, you know, I want like the animated one of Invisible Woman. Personally, not a huge Invisible Woman like fan myself, but that's the way I would go. NFTs are a flex, and like, you know, we buy them because they make us money and they're flexes. And so I think Marvel Mighty's the big, and shout out to Cody, he did a video about like how important the gamification is of them and how like that, and he's so right on that. The whole aspect of, dude, gaming tokens, gaming crypto, gaming is so big. The amount of money that Fortnite makes on skins, it's insane, you know? And so I think that is what is going to bring the value more to the Mighties than even the tags themselves. You know, I looked up the prices on the, you know, on the tags. The Captain America is $140 right now. Invisible Woman was $55 for the first appearance. And I know you might say that's undervalued, but I'm saying it's properly valued. It's maybe properly valued because people don't want it because of the look of it, because they're like, and I think that comes down to VeVe is trying to make money by putting the tags on undesirable collectibles and then putting the desirable, the collectible as the non-tagged one so that we still buy both. That's kind of my argument. I would say initially approach, I just think they're not as desirable. The Spider-Man one's probably the best one they've done so far. Props to them on that. 2099, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, best Mighties I've seen.
What do you think, Cody? You think the new users who collect Fantastic Four figurines are going to go in and want to get that Mighty Marvel because it's Invisible Woman's first appearance, or they're going to want to buy one of the Susan Storm collectibles?
You know, man, I really, I'm a big believer in staying away from Invisible Woman completely. I just think there's so, like, when you look at how many superheroes there are,
I agree.
Look at how many mints there are. Like, the reality is, you can look at your analytics. We all have YouTube channels. Look at how many men watch your videos versus how many females. It's literally like 99% dudes. And I don't know, man. If you ask anybody to name their top 10 favorite superheroes, most people are going to name 10 male superheroes. It's crazy, but it's just how it is. And to think that there's going to be enough demand to match the supply on an Invisible Woman, it's like, it's just a little crazy. But as far as the Mighties versus the regular one, because we see a lot of Mighties having that FA tag, it gets a little tricky because there's different types. Like the villains have a lot lower mint numbers. So the villain FAs, I feel like I like a lot more because there is that scarcity there. when you talk about not liking the appearance of them, I kind of, this is just my personal appearance or personal opinion, but I really prefer that cartoon-like thing because we're in this fake world. Like, if I want the real life stuff, like I can watch the movie in real life. You know, you've got all this real life stuff. You can get real life action figures. But the Marvel Mighties, to me, like when I look at NFTs, you can just go through, NFT or crypto Twitter. Pretty much everybody's NFT looks like a cartoon. Like literally, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Crypto Punks. Nobody really is getting NFTs that look, like real life things. But obviously, it does seem cooler at first glance to get the real life superheroes. So I kind of felt that way too, and I kind of wish that VeVe would put the FA on the real life superheroes. I think everybody feels that way. I really wonder what their strategy is. But for me, I think the FA tag is king. Right. So right now there's two versions of these, right? There's the real life looking one that's way cooler looking, and then the cartoon version. But what happens when there's 10 more drops of the real life looking one? Then you have, 10 that have the non-FA and then one that has the FA. So that's why I like the FA. And then for things like, you mentioned a couple of the Marvel Mighties. Okay, for things like the Marvel Mighties, you mentioned the low prices. The prices are so low because the mint numbers are so high. And one way around that is if you are investing into an NFT like the Marvel Mighties with 20,000 mints, you really have to just look at that sub 100 floor, and you have to just get familiar with the sub 100 mints. For me, I love Sam Wilson. I love Steve Rogers. I like the Spider-Man Mighty too, even though he's not a non-FA. He's the first, Spider-Man Mighty. But there's so much quantity of that. I know that it's going to crash when crashes come, and when people can cash out, everybody's going to sell. You're going to have over 5,000 people trying to sell the same NFT. So what I look at with those is the sub 100 mints. And I bought 3 of the Spider-Man ones today. I bought a Green Goblin sub 100 mint because VeVe holds the first 40, right? So that leaves 59 for investors. And there's a lot of people out there that probably don't care about sub 100 mints, but when there's only 59, you really only need about 5% of VeVe investors to care about it for it to go up in value.
Totally.
So I actually don't even look at the floor of like Steve Rogers FA anymore, or like Spider-Man Marvel Mighty. I just look at the floor of the double digit mints, and then I kind of track it that way. And that's an interesting way that I look at those, because there's just the quantity is just too freaking high, man, even if it does have the FA.
Yeah. Are you ever nervous collecting those sub 100s that when VeVe starts giving away the below 40s that your value is going to be hurt? Because they've had those hit the market, what if like one day there's like 10 of one dropped, and the 59 to 8, like 100 lose a ton of value.
So are they going to they're going to release the 0 to 40 to the public? Is that the plan? Or
it's not a release, but those are the ones they have to give away. So like I think they gave some away during the holidays. So they're not going to give away all of them away, obviously. That's dumb. But some of them will hit the market.
I don't think so, but knowing that information, it makes it less incentive to go for, number 41 to 50, because a lot of people overpay for that.
That's a great point.
I've been thinking about, I know we're kind of getting off topic here, but I've been thinking about the mint number 100. I just really like the way that thing looks. It's zeros, 1, and then 2 zeros. And it looks like mint number 1. It's just a really cool mint number. I know that's not, sub 100. Technically it is 100. But I think even if they release the 1 to 40, same thing. I mean, you've got 99 available.
Yeah.
So I really like those. Now the thing is, you can't just go after any low mint. It has to be something that's going to get traffic and going to be searched for a lot. So I don't really like even like a sub 100 Invisible Woman FA. I really would feel like there's better things to invest in.
Totally.
But
I think we agree on Invisible Woman.
Yeah. Like we got some people in the chat. We got some that say FA is overrated, and some say that FA is king. So if anybody has any questions in the chat that they want to ask these guys to get to their better opinion, make it relatable to what you think is better, the VeVe FAs or the real life FAs. And I'm going to shoot one more at you guys that a lot of people don't think about when we have this conversation, and it's the Jokers. You got the Dick Sprang Joker, which is like the 1950s Jokers, and you got the Jim Lee Joker FA. They're both Batman Black and White series. Dick Sprang is a whole lot cheaper than Jim Lee. Do you think that Dick Sprang is undervalued since it's the first appearance? I'll let you go ahead and go first, Cody.
Oh man, I probably need to look at the market a little closer there, but
it's 500 for the non-FA and about 1,200 for the FA right now.
And then what's the mint count on them?
Jim Lee is 7,500. Dick Sprang is probably the same. Let me check it. I can actually pull up
similar mint counts.
Yeah, I'll pull
That's interesting. I think it's similar to like the similar to the Mighties and the real life looking superheroes, where right now there's just not a lot of Joker NFTs, but as you get more sprinkled in there, see, I'm thinking, I might be thinking too long term even, but I just feel like eventually there'll be hundreds of Batman NFTs, there'll be 100 Joker NFTs, and then all of a sudden that FA is that one thing that keeps it standing out.
Yeah.
At the same time, I do like I would prefer the NFTs to look similar to the movies that we've seen over like the past 20 years, and not stuff from too long ago, because the reality is I just don't think that many people that are, older investors over the age of 50 are really getting too deep into NFTs. They've made their money, they built their positions, and they're kind of happy living off their real estate and their stocks. It's hard enough to even get them into crypto, let alone spending $100,000 on an NFT. So I feel like the buyers of all of these are going to be people that are under the age of 40 right now, and maybe even 90% of them under the age of 30 right now. And as these kids that were born in the 90s and 2000s get into their full-time careers and their jobs, and some of them, hit it big with pro sports and social media, those are going to be the people that we sell to. So I like that newer art, but at the same time, I think there's going to be 20 Jokers and there's going to be 19 without the FA and one with the FA. That's kind of my main argument with all of these things.
I'll update you guys on Dick Sprang. The Joker is 3,250 editions, which is pretty lower than I expected. Shout out to all the Omi homies who came to the chat today. Big shout out to Hello K for the super chat, and a shout out to Kobe Collects with the super chat. And I will let you, of course, respond, Dino, to the Dick Sprang versus Jim Lee Joker argument, if there is one.
What was the Jim Lee's mint count? Did you see?
I think it's 7,500. Yeah, 7,500. Same as Todd.
Oh, okay. And then the Dick and the other one was lower.
3,250, less than half.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what my impression. Number one, I would say I don't undervalue FAs, but when I was looking at these Jokers today, because my DC knowledge is weak, I looked at the FA one, it was 1,200. And I looked at the other one, it was 500. And I said this, and I Googled, like I saw the comic of the first one in real life. And I'm like, oh, I would take the other one. I would take that one hands down. $500, way higher possibility of 10xing. I think as those collectors get into the app, they're going to know what they want. They're not going to care what VeVe said. They're going to know what they want. And they're going to go, that's the first Joker. They messed this up. I think that Cody is right. The FA will hold value amongst the weeds. Honestly, I feel like you have to value these FAs versus their in real lives on a case-by-case basis. It's actually really hard to do it because I feel like my argument is different for each one. So for the Jokers, I feel like the FA and this one will hold value. I think this one's actually a little undervalued, the non-FA. With partners and Steamboat, I think it's a little bit different. Walt sets it apart. With the Mighties, I think they're just ugly. I'm sorry, not sorry. But yeah, with the Joker, I honestly would call him out as undervalued. I literally almost bought him before this. I literally was looking at him. I'm like, 500? And I Google it up. And I'm like, he looks just like the first one. I'm like, that's crazy to me. I think it's long, so I think long term though, yes, the FAs might beat it long term, but in the short, I think that $500 Joker might 10x your money quicker.
Yeah, with the thing is, so it's less than half the price, and you have about half of the mints. You have 3,200 instead of the 7,500. So what the market's already telling us is people are chasing the FA right now. And with a lot of this stuff, man, if the real life FA was before people were born, it's going to be hard for them to care about it. Like Me personally, it's hard for me to even get excited about a lot of this stuff. I like the colorful Mickey Mouse more than the Steamboat Willie. And after I've done the research on Steamboat Willie, it carries a lot more weight. But 99% of the people that are going to pump money into this app, they're not going to do as much research as I'm doing, like for a YouTube channel and stuff. And I had no idea that the Dick Sprang Joker was that's the real life FA.
1950s, yeah, that's the one that was made by the artist is important too. I just can't remember who it is.
And the people that will care about that are the people that were teenagers in the 1950s. Those are the people that will care about that. Now, are those people going to put money into NFTs? No, they're in retirement homes right now. You know what I mean? Now, so you have to understand what money is coming into this app to really comprehend it. There will be people that value that, right? There's people that spend money on things that from a long time ago. But are there 3,200 people that are gonna dump all their money into that? I think people will go for stuff that's newer and that's more recognizable. Even when you look at the Jim Lee Joker, it looks a lot more like something I would have seen in a Batman video game from when I was growing up more recently.
Yeah.
Steamboat Willie's probably the best non-FA thing that'll ever come out, just because Mickey Mouse, it's such a great story and such a massive impact. That might be the one exception where I would want to invest in something that's a non-FA or FE.
I just don't see them ever releasing another Steamboat either. Like, why would they release? There's not much more they can do with Steamboat. Like, if you're going to make Steamboat in color, well, that's not Steamboat Willie, right? In color.
Well, they won't make another Steamboat, but they'll make 50 more Mickey Mouses.
They totally will. But that's why I almost feel like the Steamboat and the Steamboat partner and hat are almost like a trio of Mickey, They're the trio of the Mickey. And the same with the Jokers. This is the real first Joker, and then there's the FA Joker. Do I like the FA Joker look more? Yes, I do personally. With the Mighties, I feel like it's a totally another argument. It's like, I just don't see the Mighties passing up these legit statues, at least in the short term. I think it might take, you might be right long term on the FA Mighties, because they're always going to have that going for them. But I don't know if it really depends on how much VeVe squeezes that supply on us. If they're dropping 100 caps, you might be right. that FA cap Mighty Steve Rogers might keep going up slowly but surely.
And the real NFT actually just made a super chat about that in particular. He said, Marvel Mighties are ugly, but think about kids and think about Teen Titans Go.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think that we're entering a world with the VeVe-verse and with NFTs, and you put your headset on, your Oculus, you're getting into that world to escape real life stuff. And a lot of this cartoon crazy stuff is welcomed, and it's really part of the NFT culture. I've looked at a lot of NFTs outside of VeVe, and none of them look like anything in real life. They all look like super gamified, like a video game or a cartoon. So the Marvel Mighties are really one of the things on VeVe that looks like more of an NFT than an action figure. Everything else just looks like an action figure in digital form. I think with the Mighties, though, there's so much quantity that it really seems like it's built to be a video game skin where people can purchase it and then play the game. That's why why else would there be 28,000 of some of these? Yeah. So I think if you're buying it to invest and you want to see a return on your investment, I think getting familiar with the floor price of the sub 100 mints is the best way to approach them as an investment.
That's a great thought.
And I'm kind of getting to a point where, because I recently stacked, Sam Wilson and a little bit of Steve Rogers too, but I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, dude, are there really going to be 28,000 people that see this as an investment versus if you look at the sub 100, you only need 20 people to appreciate that as an investment. And then you've got all 59 of the sub 100 mint spot up. Everybody raises the floor. People get used to seeing that higher price point. So I'm really excited about the sub 100 Marvel Mighties for all of those reasons. And when I first got on the app, I preferred the real life looking one over the Mighties. So, I have to admit that, but the Mighties have kind of grown on me. And honestly, when we talk about using an NFT as our Twitter picture, if I have a real life looking Twitter picture, it's going to be like my face. I'm not going to get a real life face of another person. I will do a cartoon version of another person just to be funny. But if I'm using a picture that's not me, I kind of want it to be a fun cartoon video game type looking thing.
Hey,
I
thank
feel
you
like,
to
yeah.
everybody in the chat. I wanted to give a shout out to Fun Under the Sun, who gave us a super chat, and we had another super chat here. We're gonna do the voting to find out who the winner of this debate night is. But before we do, since we had a super chat from my man Baz Jabbar, he said he wants to know your guys' thoughts on number 76, the Robin first appearance. And this one does kind of tie into the topic because, I mean, we have a couple Robin first appearance. This is a different Robin than the Robin that most people think of. This is actually Damon Wayans, which is Bruce Wayne's son, which is Batman's son. So let me know, Dino, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the number 776 Robin FA? Do you think it's a good pickup right now?
Let me look. Wow, $203. Cheap.
It's got a pretty high edition size.
Does it? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at
But
next.
it's one of the coolest looking NFTs. I've always said that since it came out. He looks
13,000.
he looks cool.
So we got 13,000. It's $200, and it's an FA because of the different artists, or it's an FE.
See, when they first dropped him, he wasn't a first appearance, and it was Dozer from the Comic Way who talked VeVe into making this a first appearance because this is a different Robin. This is not the Robin that you think of, who is not related to Bruce Wayne's. This is Bruce Wayne's son.
Wow, that is crazy, man.
So because it's an entirely different character, that's why. Not because of different artists, because
It's
of
kind of
different
like he was
characters.
the second Robin in the series, I think. Which is really interesting. Of course, you might have to be big into comics to understand his background or whatever, but he has a cool looking NFT. He has a first appearance.
I think that one's kind of in the category where it's such a specific type of person that's going to appreciate that. Like everything you just told me, if I hadn't known that, I wouldn't really appreciate it as much. But after hearing that, now I get it.
Right.
There's going to be people that understand that have been collecting comic books and superhero action figures for years. So I feel like that's kind of in that category where, and there's 12,000 of these.
Yep.
I kind of feel like the move would be to grab the cheapest sub 100 or keep an eye on that. Because I feel like the people that collect that it's such a niche item that I'd rather go for that sub 100 than stacking the floor. My favorite Robin, is the Nightwing, really, because Nightwing has ties to Batman and Superman. I just feel like it's such a cool character, and I feel like Nightwing's really one of the best looking NFTs too, but it's kind of all opinion based, I guess. And the mint size is so low on Nightwing.
I don't really know who Nightwing is. I'm surprised you referred to him as a Robin.
Yeah, I didn't know either. So
yeah, so it's what is it? What's Robin's name? Dick Grayson. So it's kind of when Dick Grayson did kind of, instead of being a sidekick to Batman, he was like his own superhero.
Interesting. Yeah, they're saying it in the chat too. I didn't know this. Apparently Dino didn't know either. What do you think, Dino, about Nightwing, and what do you think about Robin 76?
I mean, my personal opinion, as not a big DC collector, just looking at the mints, looking at the cost, I would actually buy the ultra rare 72 Robin, because I personally, I don't know. I feel like it's almost like a kid Robin. I don't feel like it's going to be a very desirable look. The high mint, I feel like the other Robin is like a classic Robin look that people are going to want when they're collecting Batman and Robin. It has the FA2. It's the first one to come. It's more rare. It's an ultra rare. The other one's an uncommon. I think it's probably significantly less mints too. What is it at? It's 1,700 mints. I personally would not be buying the 76. I feel like I think even with the tag, he might get lost in the app. That's just my opinion. Maybe 76 pumps tomorrow and he's amazing, and I'm totally wrong and I should have bought 10 right now on stream,
Yeah, there's a couple.
It's also 10 times. It's like 10% of the price, so you can get 10 of those.
Yep.
Man, my favorite though is really the Nightwing. I did have to do research on him to figure everything out, but the thing is with these like niche type characters that like only comic book super fans would know and appreciate, I really want to see a low mint number.
I hear
Dude, that 76 Robin has so many mints, man, that
yeah.
I don't
Dude,
know.
I have a question for you on mint numbers. So another thing, which I'll say this about the whole debate too. I feel like you got to debate the FA versus the in real life by character to character because it's so hard with each one. But in regards to Marvel Mighties, you said you like the low mints, but if the big thing for Marvel Mighties is gamification, right? Do you don't really need a sub 100 mint to play the game? You can play the game with the 25,000, or you can play the mint with the 69, right? So do you think that that is the good move for the Mighty still? Obviously, it's still the FA. You still will have a low mint value. But if the big value is gamification, the low mint, doesn't that lose? Like, it doesn't produce as much as you want it to? Unless it makes your stats better. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I don't think there's any utility behind the low mint. It's just something that I've seen, like, Mr. Pags and a lot of top level investors going after. And if you look, what I really like to see on the ones that I'm looking at low mint, Mr. Pags actually posts most of his stuff on the marketplace for prices that'll never sell, just to show that he has it. He has almost all of these Mighties, sub 100, and a lot of, sub 50 stuff. And I just think the Mighties are something where if you want to play the game, you can buy the floor for an affordable price. And then if you want to invest, going for the low mints is important. And even with gamification, there's no way gamification can hurt the low mints with the Mighty, because it's only going to bring more eyes onto the Mighties. But if you're playing a game and somehow your mint number is on display above your character's head, it's actually going to be even more of a flex, because then people are going to see a bunch of Spider-Mans, but then when they see a Spider-Man number 50 running around or number 100 running around,
they're going to say, shoot him. No,
yeah, it's like, wow, I don't just get to flex this on the marketplace, but I can run around in this,
Bro, that's like the general's cap, though. They're going to snipe you off every game.
Yeah, maybe it can only be visible in the lobby.
That'd be good.
I don't know if the Marvel Mighties is going to be a first-person shooter either. I don't know.
Dude, I would be sniping the 50 mints. I'd be like, that guy's too rich. Kill him.
Yeah, they got to make him pay for it.
The people say it might be a Super Smash Bros. Type game for the Marvel Mighties. It might be a Mario Super Smash Bros. Type game. We're going to do a quick little lightning round. We're going to vote in about 5 minutes, but we got a couple super chats with some questions. They might not be related to the topic, but like I said, a quick lightning round, just 1 or 2 minute opinion on you. We'll start off with Cody this time. This is from Carissa. She said, and this is interesting too, I never heard this before, since Marvel comic number 1 was apparently by Timely Comics, not Marvel, doesn't that make Fantastic Four number 1 the first Marvel comic on VeVe?
I'm probably not the right person to respond to that. What are y'all's opinions? I'm just not super dialed into the comics.
I have heard that when it was first dropped, something about Timely Comics, but I'm not dialed into comics much either, so I really didn't know much about it. But when she puts it that way, then that makes Fantastic Four number 1 technically the first Marvel comic on VeVe. Is that going to make it super valuable to where it catches up with Marvel number 1?
So she's saying Marvel, it wasn't released by VeVe, it was released by someone else?
Marvel Comics number 1 wasn't released by Marvel, apparently. It was released by Timely Comics, which is a whole different company. Seems like little semantics.
But in real life, it was...
No, in real life.
Marvel comic, right?
No, in real life, it was Timely Comics. I guess they just called the comic itself Marvel. I'm going to have to research that because I don't know a whole lot about it.
Crazy.
But I do remember somebody mentioning Timely Comics whenever it first came out.
I think that's a very niche scenario, right? I think in this case, if you don't know, it's best to refer to the experts. And all the comic experts call MC1 the Grail of Grails. So it's almost like it's just been assumed that it's like, no, this is it. You know what I mean? Like they've overlooked that thing. And they're just, what I've seen from the comic experts, they all call MC1 the number 1. Like, so I think that those people probably know that thought, and it doesn't matter. They're like, no, that's the number 1.
Yeah, and even if that other one was the number 1, all that really matters is what are the Omi homies on Twitter calling the Grail of the comics? Like, what is the community right now? Because we're pretty deep into this with over 1 million users. Like, whatever is number 1 right now is probably going to stay number 1, because as millions of more people are funneled into this environment and this online community, like just like how I am, I'm still learning every day. I'm only 2 months into this. like if I see all the comic YouTubers saying this is number one, I'm going to accept that in my mind. And then all of a sudden, you know, when I convince my friend to get on the app in a month from now, I'm going to teach him the same thing. And whatever is kind of accepted now, I feel like it's a pretty safe bet that that's going to be considered the grail. It's hard because everybody's trying to find that next thing that's going to pop, and like kind of trying to find a reason why it could pop. You know, something that we've all overlooked, but it's tough because, you know, the stuff that's the grails, it's hard because it's unaffordable. You want something else that's under the radar. You want to be the only one that finds it first. But
absolutely. We're getting a little bit more information from the chat too. Apparently Timely Comics changed their name to Marvel after they put the comics out, and everybody says that most people agree that Marvel comic number one is the first Marvel comic. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and open the voting. Like I said, you're going to be able to vote between what do you think is more important, the first appearance on VeVe as an NFT, or the first appearance in real life as an NFT, or you could just vote for who you think made the strongest argument. And while we're doing the voting, you guys are going to have about 5 minutes to vote. I'm going to ask you guys this one other question that came in from a super chat. It says, can you ask their opinion on comics and ask Cody if he still feels like the comics are equivalent to digital ebooks?
Yeah, they basically are ebooks, which is actually a really good thing. I think the guy's trying to imply that I was talking crap towards comics.
I think so. I didn't read it before I saw it.
It's actually good that it's an ebook, because a real life comic you can't open and read. And the other thing is with collectibles, man, like I have some pretty high profile like UFC cards. And the problem with them is I'm not going to take them out and about to show my friends. Whereas with these comic books is the same thing. Like you could have $100,000 comic book in your closet, like in a safe, but you can't whip your phone out when you're out with friends to show them. So in many ways, these digital comics are so much better. And we'll see what happens. I don't know what it's such a niche community that's into comic books, but I feel like I could see myself spending tons of money on digital comics before I spend it on physical comics. So I like a lot of these comics, and I really like stacking the commons. You know, it's something that I've heard other YouTubers talk about, where they like the common because of the art is the same as the in real life version with that. So I feel like stacking comics is a good place to park your money. Right now, I don't want to have any gems because I would bet on the market to go up before it goes down. So stacking common comics of like Amazing Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 3, I feel like that's a place where I'm comfortable putting my money.
Makes sense. Yep. All right, I got the prize pulled up on the screen just so everybody knows. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the chat. I don't understand what a mukbang is, and I don't know what all the eggs are for. But,
the egg is my channel. So the egg,
okay.
We do this thing. It's my bald head.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, nice. That's hilarious.
So the egg is some of my subs and some of my friends. And then the mukbang is when you eat copious amounts of food on live stream and people watch you eat it.
Oh, wow.
Why? Because people do that, man. I did one the other night. People loved it. It was crazy.
All right, my man. I know you're a Disney guy, but what do you think about comics? Holding on to comics long term? Are they a good pickup right now, or would you buy the collectibles instead?
No, I have a ton of comics. I mean, I have like 80 plus comics right now. Obviously, some of them I stack for giveaways and stuff like that. I will say about the whole argument too, FA versus real life. It's so hard, and like I love all of Cody's points. And now that we're not debating anymore, I'm like, okay, it's such a well-rounded opinion. It's so hard to pick one side. I was like fighting really hard. I'm like, I gotta stick to one side. But I would say about comics, yeah, I think they're great. I have most of the grails in commons and uncommons. I can't afford those secret rares. I think that in the showrooms, it's gonna blow up. I think that everyone's waiting for that. I think the ability to put your first appearance on a comic next to your FA character or your favorite collectible of that character is amazing. I think that's going to make them blow up. I think that the ability, like Cody said, to read them is huge, because if you have a 9.8, you can't read it, you know, and that's why David Hughes says, like, always collect in threes, one to use, one to sell, one to keep forever, you know? And so I definitely like the whole concept of the comics. I have a ton of them. Like I said, I have like 80 plus comics. And yeah, I'm bullish on them. I'm bullish on them, especially the Grail pieces. Yeah, I love them.
Update on the poll. It was Dino was up from 51% to 49%, and then Cody pulled ahead 51% to
Let's
49%.
go.
We got about 2 minutes left. I think it's awesome that instead
The
of
coin flip, man.
instead of non-fungible wonderful's pineapple, you got your own egg. It's kind of like the same thing. I need my own emoji. All right, guys, I'm
Yeah,
gonna give it.
it's good marketing.
Yeah, I like it, and it fits his head perfectly. I agree with
Yeah,
the
the
chat.
egg thing is just funny. It just started happening in my stream, and then now I just go with it.
You need an egg with a beard.
Yes.
It's 50-50 right now is the vote with about a minute and a half left. I agree with all the chat. Everybody said both of you guys made great arguments on both sides. And coming in here, I was on Cody's side. I think first appearance, I'm big on baseball cards. So to me, the FA is like the RC on a baseball card. And you got to have the rookie. You got to have that rookie. And there's going to be a lot more of each one in the future. But man, if you have to give me a Invisible Woman, Mighty Marvel, and then the secret rare Invisible Woman, I'm going with the secret rare. It's much better,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yep. Agreed.
All right.
You know, it's so hard. I feel like I'm back and forth. Like, you know, if we're not debating, I'm like, oh man, I'm back and forth. Like, you know, if you told me I was only able to have one partner or one ultra rare, oh God, I'm taking the partner, right? But
It all depends on the individual situation for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I think as long as you put money in right now, you're gonna make money.
That's a great point.
As long as you
So-
put it into something, man.
I tell my buddies, I'm like, listen, $1,000 in VeVe right now is more than 10,000 in 3 months. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
I just got my mom and my stepdad into VeVe, and like on his first drop, he got the rare something that was worth $600 on his very first drop, and he spent like $50. So now they're all addicted, and they watch the stream and everything.
Dude,
Big
that's
into it.
awesome.
All right, it's 5
You need to
minutes.
get your
We have
kid
a
doing
winner.
it. I heard Kidgate's the best.
Kidgate, yeah, they got the fastest tapping fingers. They tap super fast. All right, we have a winner. It was super close. It went back and forth. Let's see. It is Dino with 52% out of 155 votes. Congratulations.
crazy.
It was a great debate on both sides. Like I said, the voting went back and forth, so people were split right down the middle, which I like to
Yeah,
see
that's a
that.
50-50.
That was a great debate, guys. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate you. And Dino, of course, send me your QR code, and I will send you over the House of X Uncommon. And of course, thanks everybody for coming to the stream and to the debate. And if you enjoyed it, we'll probably do it again next week. Big shout out and big thank you to Cody Thrive. I'm gonna go ahead and link both these guys' YouTube channels, VeVe YouTube channels, in the chat. You guys might want to subscribe to them for more VeVe content. The first one is my man Cody Thrive, and like I said, Cody Thrive has a big following on TikTok. Yeah, like how many followers do you have on TikTok?
I've got a few accounts, but my main one's like entrepreneur and side hustle stuff. It's at 970,000. So
Wow.
trying to hit 1 million,
My
but
man's got 1 million
Wow.
on TikTok, y'all. Hit him up, check him out on YouTube. And of course, Dino Laing. Follow Dino Laing. Tune into his live streams. He's always live streaming and hanging out and having a good time with the VeVe fam. And I will see you guys, of course, tomorrow for the drop DC Cover Girls Series 2.
Go.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Dino. Appreciate it, guys.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, all right. We're out of here. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Vault. Thank you, stream.
See you.